The divorce papers landed on the table while I was still wearing the apron. His mother smiled. Finally, someone worthy. The woman beside him was younger, richer, everything I wasn't. He never looked at me, not once. I had given up my company, my name, my voice, for a man who now couldn't remember I existed. They laughed. I didn't cry. I smiled. And that smile scared him more than any scream ever could. If you love stories like this, subscribe now, because what comes next will destroy everything they thought they knew. But that's not how it all started. 3 years earlier, I was someone else entirely. I was Emily Jiang, youngest CEO of a tech startup worth $40 million. I had investors calling me daily, magazines listing me as 30 under 30, and a future so bright it hurt to look at. Then I met David Monroe. He was charming, soft-spoken, from old money, but struggling to prove himself. His family's real estate empire was crumbling, and he needed a miracle. I became that miracle. When he proposed, his mother made it clear. Our family doesn't accept women who work. A Monroe wife supports her husband, privately. I laughed. She didn't. David held my hand. Just for a while, Emily. Just until I stabilize things. Then you can go back. I loved him. So I sold my company, signed every share away, became Mrs. Emily Monroe, and disappeared. The humiliation started quietly. At family dinners, his mother would introduce me as David's wife, and nothing more. When I mentioned my past, she'd cut me off. That life is over, dear. You're a Monroe now. Act like it. I organized his schedule, managed his investors, ghost-wrote his speeches. Every successful deal he closed had my strategy behind it. Every contract he signed had my revisions. No one knew. He made sure of that. People need to see me as strong, Emily. If they know you're helping, it looks weak. I swallowed it. I believed him. I made myself smaller. I stopped attending events, stopped calling old colleagues. My phone went silent. My name faded. One night I overheard his brother at a dinner party. David really turned things around. Who knew he had it in him? David laughed, raised his glass, said nothing about me. I was standing 10 feet away holding his coat, invisible. The sacrifice became routine. I woke up at 5 to prep his meetings, stayed up past midnight reviewing contracts he'd present as his own. I stopped buying clothes, stopped going out. Every dollar I'd saved from selling my company went into his business, his debts, his image. His mother reminded me often, this is what a good wife does. But the worst part? I started to believe I wasn't enough, that I needed to try harder, that maybe if I perfected everything, he'd see me again the way he did before. I cooked his favorite meals. I nodded at his mother's cruelty. I smiled at events, while women I used to work with walked past me like I was furniture. One of them, Jessica, stopped once. Emily, oh my God, I didn't recognize you. What happened? I said I was happy. She didn't believe me, neither did I. Then came the investor meeting, the one that would change everything. David's company was hemorrhaging money. He needed a major deal to survive. I spent 2 months building the pitch, analyzing every number, every risk. The night before, I handed him the folder. This is perfect, he said. You're amazing. I felt something I hadn't felt in months. Hope. The next day, he presented my work. Flawlessly. The investors loved it. $50 million deal, closed on the spot. That night, his family threw a celebration. Champagne, speeches. His father clapped him on the back. You've finally proven yourself, son. David smiled, gave a speech about vision, about persistence, about never giving up. He thanked his father, his mother, his mentors. He never said my name. I stood in the corner holding a glass I didn't drink from, and something inside me cracked. But I said nothing. I went home. I folded his laundry. I pretended I didn't notice. That's when I started keeping records. Every email I'd written for him, every contract I'd revised, every strategy I'd built, I didn't know why. I just knew I needed proof that I had existed. Because some days, I wasn't sure anymore. If this story is hitting you, subscribe now. because the betrayal that's coming will change everything. 6 months later, I found the messages. I wasn't snooping. His phone buzzed on the kitchen counter while he was in the shower. I glanced at it. Can't wait to see you tonight. Wear the red dress. I didn't recognize the number. My hands were shaking when I opened his phone. The password was our anniversary. He hadn't changed it. There were hundreds of messages, photos, hotels, dates that overlapped with business trips I had planned for him. Her name was Natalie Harrington, daughter of one of his investors. 25, beautiful, rich, everything I used to be and everything I wasn't anymore. The messages went back 8 months. He called her the only woman who understands him. He told her I was just a phase, that he'd married me because I was useful, but now that the business was stable, he didn't need me anymore. She's so quiet now, like a ghost. I barely notice her. I read every word. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I put the phone back exactly where it was. I finished making his breakfast. When he came downstairs, I smiled. "How do you want your eggs?" He didn't even look up. "Scrambled." I made them perfectly. I started planning. I contacted an old colleague, someone I'd helped years ago, a lawyer, discreet, sharp. I asked hypothetical questions. If someone sacrificed everything for a marriage and the spouse took credit for their work, what would that person be entitled to? The lawyer's eyes narrowed. "Everything, if you have proof." I had proof, mountains of it. But I didn't move yet, because David's mother was planning something. I overheard her on the phone one afternoon. "Natalie is perfect for him. Emily has served her purpose. It's time." 2 weeks later, David came home late. He didn't apologize. He sat me down in the living room. His mother was already there, smiling. "Emily, we need to talk." He slid the divorce papers across the table. "This isn't working anymore. You've been distant. I think we both know this marriage is over." I looked at the papers. My name. His name. A settlement offer that was insultingly small. His mother leaned forward. "We're being very generous, dear. You'll leave with enough to start fresh. Somewhere quiet." I asked one question. "How long have you been planning this?" He didn't answer. His mother did. "Since the business stabilized, you were helpful, Emily, but David needs a partner who can match his status now." That's when Natalie walked in. She didn't even pretend to be surprised. She sat beside David, her hand on his arm, and looked at me like I was an inconvenience. "I hope there's no hard feelings," she said. I stared at her, at him, at his mother. 3 years. I had given them 3 years. My company, my identity, my silence. And this was the reward. David cleared his throat. "I'd appreciate it if you signed quickly. We'd like to move forward." I picked up the pen. His mother smiled, victorious. I set the pen down. "No." The room went silent. David blinked. "What?" I said no. His mother's smile faltered. "Emily, don't be difficult. You have no leverage here." I stood up. "Actually, I have all of it." I walked out of that room and made one phone call to my lawyer. "File everything now." She didn't ask questions. She already had the documents, the emails, the contracts, the bank transfers, every single piece of evidence that proved I had built his empire while he took credit. But I didn't tell him that. Not yet. I let him think he'd won. I moved into the guest room. I stayed quiet. I watched Natalie move through my house like she already owned it. I watched his mother plan their engagement party. I watched David relax, thinking I'd broken. He had no idea what was coming. And the worst part, I wasn't angry anymore. I was cold, methodical, precise. I had learned from the best after all. I had learned from him. The lawsuit hit 3 weeks later. David called me screaming. "What the hell is this?" I was sitting in a cafe, drinking coffee for the first time in months. "It's the truth." The case was airtight. Every email I'd written under his name, every contract I'd negotiated, every dollar I'd funneled into his dying company. My lawyer didn't just ask for alimony. She asked for half his business, because legally I had built it. His investors saw the documents. They panicked. If I owned half his company and I pulled out, the whole thing would collapse. David tried to negotiate. He sent his mother first. She showed up at my apartment, furious. "You ungrateful little..." I closed the door in her face. Then he sent Natalie. She cried. Said she didn't know. Said she loved him. I told her the truth. "He'll do the same to you, the second you stop being useful." She left. He came himself, finally. He looked smaller somehow. Tired. "Emily, please. We can work this out." I looked at him. The man I'd loved. The man I'd sacrificed everything for. "You're right," I said. "We can." His face lit up. "We'll split the business fairly. You'll get what you deserve, and I'll take back my life." The settlement took 4 months. I walked away with $30 million, half his company shares, and a legally binding document that named me as co-architect of every major deal he'd ever closed. His reputation shattered. Investors whispered. Natalie left him a week after the news broke. His mother stopped speaking to him. I didn't gloat, I didn't call, I didn't watch him fall apart. I rebuilt. I started a new company, hired people I trusted, worked late nights because I wanted to, not because I had to. 6 months later, I saw him at an industry event. He tried to approach me. I didn't stop walking. A journalist asked me once, "Do you regret the marriage?" I thought about it, about the 3 years I lost, about the version of myself I had to bury to survive. "No," I said, "I regret nothing because now I know exactly what I'm worth, and it's not something anyone can take from me." The article went viral. People called me cold, calculated, a villain. I didn't care. I had spent 3 years being invisible. Now I was unforgettable. David's business never recovered. Last I heard, he was working for someone else, taking orders, being useful. I hope he remembers what that feels like. As for me, I don't look back anymore. I don't need to, because the woman I am now would never let anyone make her disappear. And that smile I gave him the day he handed me those divorce papers, it wasn't hope, it wasn't forgiveness, it was a promise. I told you I'd destroy everything you thought you knew, and I kept it.